Let me ask you something. If you stopped working tomorrow, completely stopped, how long could you survive? Not thrive, not live comfortably, just survive. Cover your rent, feed yourself, keep the lights on, take a moment, really think about it. For most people, the honest answer is somewhere between 2 weeks and 2 months. Some people can barely make it to next Friday. And the terrifying part isn't the number. The terrifying part is that millions of people who earn very good salaries, doctors, lawyers, engineers, managers, they are just as close to broke as the person bagging groceries at the supermarket. Because here's what nobody teaches you in school. Income is not wealth. Say that again, slowly, to yourself. Income is not wealth. You can earn $100,000 a year and still be completely financially fragile. You can earn $40,000 a year and be quietly building something that will set your grandchildren free. The difference has nothing to do with how hard you work. It has everything to do with what your money is doing while you are sleeping. The rich figured this out, and most of us were never told. That's what this audiobook is about. Not get-rich-quick schemes, not tips and tricks, not some secret investment only insiders know about. This is about a fundamental shift in how you think about money. Because until that shift happens, no tip or trick in the world will save you. So stay with me. Whether you're 22 years old with your first paycheck and no idea what to do with it, or 45 years old wondering how you got here and what to do next, this was made for you, both of you. By the end of this, you will understand the single most important rule the wealthy operate by. You will understand why working harder almost never leads to financial freedom. You will understand the 3 things the rich actually do with their money. And you will walk away with specific, real-world steps you can take this week. Not someday, this week. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The hamster will picture a hamster. Running, spinning, legs moving as fast as they can go, completely committed to the effort, and going absolutely nowhere. Now, picture yourself on a Monday morning. Alarm goes off. You get up, you commute, you work, you earn, you spend, you sleep, and on Tuesday morning, the alarm goes off again. There's a reason people call it the rat race. And it's not an insult. It's a description of a system that was built a very long time ago by people who needed workers to keep working and spending and never quite getting ahead. Here's how the cycle runs. You need money, so you get a job. The job gives you a paycheck. The paycheck creates lifestyle. Lifestyle creates expenses. Expenses grow, so you need more money. So you work more, or you get a raise. And somehow, the expenses grow to meet whatever you earn. You upgrade the car. You move to a better apartment. The holidays get a little bigger. The wardrobe gets a little nicer. And then one day you realize that despite earning more than you ever have, you still feel like you're one bad month away from disaster. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it is a silent killer of financial progress. The real-world analogy here is a bucket with a hole in it. Every month, your paycheck fills a bucket, but there is a hole at the bottom. Rent goes out, food goes out, subscriptions, debt payments, impulse buys, all going out. And most people's financial strategy is to pour water in faster, get a raise, work overtime, hustle harder, without ever stopping to think about the hole. The mistake people make here is enormous and incredibly common. They believe that more income solves the problem. It doesn't. More income without financial education just means bigger holes. Here's the psychological truth behind it. When we earn more, we feel like we've earned the right to spend more. It feels like justice. I work hard. I deserve nice things. And you know what? You do deserve nice things. That's not the argument. The argument is that the timing matters. You deserve nice things, But buying them before your money is working for you means you will always be one paycheck away from needing to work again. The rich understood this early. They did not consume their income first and save what was left. They protected their income first and spent what was left. That one reversal is worth more than any salary increase. So what can you do this week? First, write down your monthly income, your real take-home number after everything. Then write down your fixed monthly expenses, rent or mortgage, utilities, car payment, debt payments, insurance, every non-negotiable. Subtract that from your income. What's left is your actual financial life. Your choices live in that number. And if the number is depressingly small or negative, you have just identified the most important problem to solve first. That's not failure. That's clarity. And clarity is where everything begins. In the next chapter, we're going to talk about what the wealthy actually do with that leftover money and why it's the complete opposite of what you'd expect. Chapter 2, The Asset Machine. Here is a sentence that changed everything for a generation of people. The rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. You probably heard some version of that before. Maybe it sounded like a motivational poster. Vague, nice, not particularly useful. So let's make it concrete. When most people earn money, the money moves in one direction. From their employer to them, to their landlord, their grocery store, their streaming service, their car loan. Out, all out. When wealthy people earn money, they do something different first. Before the money goes out, a portion of it goes somewhere else. Somewhere it can grow. Somewhere it can generate more money. And that new money generates even more money. And that cycle is what they call an asset machine. An asset is simply something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out. Let's make that real. Your house, if you're renting it out and it earns more than it costs, is an asset. The same house, sitting empty and costing you in mortgage, taxes, and repairs, is a liability. Your car is almost always a liability. It costs you insurance, fuel, maintenance, depreciation, and it gives you nothing back. A stock that pays dividends is an asset. A stock that just sits there waiting to be sold might become an asset or a liability, depending on the market. A business that generates profit without you being there every day is a powerful asset. The wealthy obsess over one thing: acquiring assets, growing assets, protecting assets. Now here's the beautiful part of this. You don't need to be rich to start. That's the misconception. People hear assets, and they think real estate empires and stock portfolios and things only people with money can access. But you can buy a fraction of a share of a major company for less than the price of a cup of coffee. You can start a digital product, something you create once and sell it hundreds or thousands of times. You can buy a small piece of a real estate investment trust, which is a fund that owns property, and earn rental income without ever being a landlord. The asset machine doesn't care how much you start with. It cares that you start. Here's the analogy that makes this click. Imagine two people, each planting a tree. Person A plants a tree and cuts it down every year for firewood. They always have firewood. They never have a forest. Person B plants a tree and lets it grow. Year 1, nothing useful. Year 2, nothing useful. Year 5, some shade. Year 10, fruit. Year 20, a grove of trees that provides fruit, shade, wood, and seeds for more trees for the rest of their life. Most people are cutting down their trees. Every month, they plant a paycheck, and they burn it for warmth immediately. The wealthy let the trees grow. The most common mistake people make here is this. They wait. They tell themselves they'll start investing when they have more money, when things are more stable, when the kids are older, when the debt is paid. And the waiting costs them more than the debt ever did, because of a force so powerful it has been called the eighth wonder of the world: compound interest. Here's how it works. You invest $1,000. It grows at 8% per year. After 1 year, you have $1,080. After 2 years, that $1,080 also grows by 8%. You are now earning interest on your interest. You are not just growing the original tree. You're growing every new branch too. After 30 years at 8%, that $1,000 becomes over $10,000 without you doing anything, without you working a single extra hour. Now imagine not 1,000. Imagine doing that every single month. This is why the wealthy do not wait. Not because they are smarter, not because they are more disciplined, because they understand that time is the most powerful financial asset in existence. And every month of waiting is a month they cannot get back. Your action step this week: open an investment account. Today, not next week. Today. In many countries, you can do this in under 15 minutes on your phone. You do not need to be an expert. You do not need to understand the stock market. You need to start with whatever you can, even $20, and make it a habit. We'll talk about exactly where to put it in a later chapter. But first, let's talk about the one thing that keeps most people from ever getting here. Chapter 3. The money story you've been told somebody taught you about money before you ever earned a cent. Maybe it was your parents. Maybe it was a teacher. Maybe it was the neighborhood you grew up in, or the TV shows you watched, or the conversations you heard around the kitchen table. Most of it wasn't a formal lesson. Most of it was absorbed, felt, lived. And for many of us, what was absorbed was this: money is scarce. Money is stressful. Rich people are lucky or dishonest, or both. Money is not something we talk about. You work hard, you pay your bills, you hope for the best. Money doesn't grow on trees. This is the money story, and it runs deep. Here's why this matters more than any strategy or investment tip in this audiobook. You cannot out-strategy a belief system that is working against you. If somewhere in the back of your mind you believe that wealthy people are corrupt, you will unconsciously sabotage your own wealth building, because becoming wealthy would mean becoming something you despise. If you believe that money is always scarce, you will spend anxiously, hoard emotionally, or avoid your finances entirely because looking at them feels overwhelming. If you believe that your financial situation is fixed by your background, your education, your family income, you will not take the actions that could change it. Because why bother? These are not character flaws. They are learned responses, incredibly human responses, but they are worth examining. Let me tell you about a man I'll call David. David grew up watching his father work 2 jobs and still struggle. His mother clipped coupons. His family moved 3 times in 6 years because of rent. David grew up and became a successful engineer. Good salary, stable job. And yet for 15 years, David spent almost everything he earned, not on luxury, just on things. Food delivery every night, upgraded gadgets, holidays that stretched the credit card, a car that was a bit too much. When someone finally sat him down and asked him why he spent the way he did, David was quiet for a long moment, and then he said something that changed his own life. I grew up feeling like money always disappeared anyway. Like no matter what we did, it left. So I guess I just made it leave before it could do it on its own. That's a money story. And it was running his financial life on autopilot when David identified it. He didn't become a different person overnight, but he started asking a different question. Instead of what do I want to buy with this, he started asking, what do I want this money to do for me? That one question shift was worth more than his engineering degree. The mistake people make here is dismissing the psychological dimension of money. They think finance is math. It's not. Finance is behavior, and behavior is driven by belief. So if the math of investing is so simple and so obvious, why doesn't everyone do it? because belief gets in the way. Your action step this week. Take 10 minutes. Write down 3 things you were taught about money growing up. Not what you consciously believe now. What you absorbed. What the adults around you showed you. Then ask yourself honestly, are any of those beliefs still driving your decisions today? You might be surprised what you find. Because the wealth gap is not just an income gap. It's a knowledge gap. And underneath the knowledge gap is a belief gap. Now let's talk about the 3 things the wealthy actually do. The 3 strategies. The real answer to the question this audiobook is named after. Chapter 4. The 3 things, here it is. The actual answer. The rich don't work for money. They do 3 things instead. They build assets. They use leverage. And they protect what they have. That's it. 3 things. Everything else, every stock tip, every investment strategy, every business model, fits inside one of those 3 categories. Let's take them one at a time. The first is building assets. We touched on this already. Assets are things that generate income. The wealthy spend their lives acquiring and growing income-producing assets. Businesses that generate cash. Real estate that generates rent. Stocks and funds that generate dividends and growth. Intellectual property that generates royalties. Digital products that generate passive sales. The goal is simple. Build enough assets that the income from those assets covers your lifestyle. When that happens, you don't need to work anymore. Not because you're lazy, but because you've bought your own freedom. This is called financial independence. And it doesn't require being a millionaire. It requires your asset income to exceed your expenses. Imagine your monthly expenses are $3,000. If your assets generate $3,000 a month in income, you are financially free. You can work if you choose, but you don't have to. And that choice is the most valuable thing money can buy. The second thing the wealthy do is use leverage. Leverage is one of the most misunderstood and most powerful financial tools in existence. In plain language, leverage means using other people's resources to multiply your own results. This includes other people's money. When a wealthy investor buys a property worth $1 million and puts down only $200,000 of their own money, they control a $1 million asset with $200,000. Any growth on that asset, any rent income from it, happens on the full $1 million, not just on the $200,000 they put in. Leverage also includes other people's time. The wealthy build systems where other people's work generates income for them. An employer exchanges money for your time. A business owner structures things so their team's time generates income for the business. And leverage includes other people's knowledge. Wealthy people hire accountants, lawyers, financial advisors, and mentors not as a luxury, but as an investment. Paying someone who knows tax law could save you 10 times what you pay them. That is leverage. The common mistake with leverage is fear. Most people are terrified of borrowing money because they've been taught that debt is always bad. And consumer debt, borrowing to fund lifestyle, absolutely is. But strategic debt, borrowing to acquire income-producing assets, is how most major wealth has been built throughout history. The third thing the wealthy do is protect what they have. Here's the thing nobody tells you about building wealth. The more you have, the more forces are working to take it from you. Taxes, lawsuits, bad investments, inflation, poor estate planning. The list goes on. The wealthy spend enormous energy and resources on protection. They structure their businesses and assets to minimize tax legally. They hold assets in ways that protect them from personal liability. They diversify so that no single event can wipe them out. They plan ahead for what happens to their wealth when they are no longer here to manage it. This is not evasion. This is engineering. And most people, because they don't yet have significant wealth, ignore this dimension entirely, which is a mistake, because the habits of protection need to be built before you need them. A seatbelt is most useful before the crash, not during it. Now, let me give you the full picture of how these three things work together. Building assets generates income, leverage accelerates the building, and protection ensures nothing destroys what you've built. Build, leverage, protect. Do those three things consistently over time, and the math is on your side. Your action step this week. Ask yourself which of these three you've been completely ignoring. Most people do a little of the first and none of the second or third. Just identify the gap. That's enough for now. Next, we need to talk about the thing that's probably tripping you up most right now. Debt. Chapter 5. The debt conversation. Nobody wants to talk about this. So let's talk about it. If you are in debt right now, credit cards, student loans, car loans, medical debt, personal loans, you are not a failure. You are not irresponsible. You are a person who grew up in a system that handed credit to teenagers who had never been taught anything about money. That is not a moral failing. That is a design feature. The credit industry profits enormously from your not understanding how interest works. They are not neutral. They are not your friends. And the products they sell are specifically designed to keep you paying as long as possible. Here's the thing about consumer debt that most people don't fully grasp until it's too late. When you carry a credit card balance at 20% annual interest, you are paying 20% per year just to have borrowed that money. And if you only make the minimum payment, you are paying 20% on a balance that barely shrinks. It's like try empty a swimming pool with a teaspoon while someone keeps adding water. A $5,000 credit card balance at 20% interest, making only minimum payments, can take over 12 years to pay off and cost you more than twice the original balance in interest alone. Let that land. You borrowed $5,000. You pay back over $10,000 for nothing, not an asset, just interest, just the cost of owing money. This is why debt elimination for most people is the highest return investment they can make. Paying off a 20% credit card is the same as earning 20% guaranteed on your money. There is no investment in the world that offers 20% guaranteed. Not one, but, and this is important, not all debt is the enemy. Here's the distinction the wealthy make. They separate debt into two categories. Debt that costs them and debt that pays them. Debt that costs them is a mortgage on a house they live in, a car loan, a credit card, a personal loan. It drains cash flow. It buys them nothing that generates income. Debt that pays them is a loan to buy a rental property, a business loan to expand a profitable operation, financing to acquire income-generating equipment. This debt creates assets. The asset generates more income than the debt costs. The gap is profit. One type of debt makes you poorer every month. The other type, used wisely, can make you wealthier. Now, let me be honest with you for a moment. Not everyone reading or listening to this is in a place to be thinking about investment debt. If you have consumer debt piling up right now, that needs to come first. You cannot build a house on sand, and you cannot build wealth on a foundation of high-interest debt. Here is a simple framework for thinking about your debt right now. List every debt you have, the balance, the interest rate, the minimum monthly payment. Sort them by interest rate, highest to lowest. Your enemy is at the top of that list. Everything extra you can find in your budget goes there. Minimum payments on everything else. Maximum attack on the highest rate debt. When it's gone, attack the next one. And watch the math begin to shift in your favor. This is called the debt avalanche method. It is mathematically the fastest way out. There's also the debt snowball method, where you pay off the smallest balance first regardless of interest rate. The math is slightly less efficient. But for many people, the psychological win of eliminating an entire debt keeps them motivated. Know yourself. Use the method you'll actually stick to. Here's what I want you to hear. Getting out of debt is not just about math. It's about identity. It's about deciding that you are not a person who carries unnecessary debt. that your future income has better things to do than service past mistakes. You didn't make those mistakes because you were reckless. You made them because nobody taught you how this worked. And now you know, which means from this point forward, every decision you make will be made with more understanding. That is not a small thing. Your action step this week. Make the list. Every debt, every rate, every payment. It's uncomfortable. Do it anyway. You cannot fight an enemy you refuse to look at. And when the list is done, take a breath and remind yourself this is the moment it starts to change. Because up next, we're going to talk about something that will either save you or sink you, depending on how you treat it. Your income, and why most people are using it completely backwards. Chapter 6. Pay Yourself First is a chapter most people think is too simple to take seriously. They are wrong. Pay yourself first. 3 words. Thousands of years of wisdom compressed into a single sentence. Here's what it means. Before you pay your rent, before you pay your phone bill, before you buy groceries, before you do anything with your income, you take a portion of it and you put it somewhere that is not your checking account. Somewhere it can grow. Somewhere is not immediately available to be spent on Tuesday when you're bored and browsing online stores. You pay yourself first. Everyone else gets paid second. Now I know what you're thinking. That sounds great, but my expenses already eat up everything I earn. There's nothing left to pay myself with. And here's the uncomfortable truth. That's probably true. Right now, because your expenses have been allowed to grow to fill all available income. We talked about lifestyle inflation. This is the antidote. When you commit to paying yourself first, say 10% of every paycheck, something interesting happens. You adjust. The expenses that seem non-negotiable suddenly have a little more flexibility. The daily lunch out becomes a packed lunch twice a week. The streaming services get audited. The impulse buys slow down. Not because you're miserable, because your brain knows the rules have changed. Here's the analogy. Think of your finances like a glass of water. Right now, you pour the whole glass in, and it all evaporates through spending. Paying yourself first means you scoop out 10% into a sealed jar before the evaporation happens. The remaining 90% still evaporates, but the jar keeps growing. The wealthy do not save what is left after spending. They spend what is left after saving. That reversal is the whole game. Now, where does this money go? This is critical. It cannot go into your regular checking account. It has to go somewhere separate, automated, and ideally slightly inconvenient to access. A savings account with no debit card, an investment account, a retirement fund, out of sight, slightly out of reach, and working for you every single day. Automation is your best friend here. Set up an automatic transfer on the day your paycheck arrives. Not after you've seen the money and spent some of it. On the day it arrives. Before your brain registers it as available. Most banks and brokerage apps make this trivially easy. And the amount. Start with what you can. 1%, 3%, 5%. If you're already in debt, start small. The habit matters more than the amount right now. But work toward 10%, then 15, then 20. The wealthy who build real lasting wealth typically save and invest between 20 and 40% of their income. That sounds impossible. I know, but remember David from earlier. The engineer who spent everything he earned as fast as arrived. When he set up an automatic transfer of just 5% of his paycheck to an investment account, he barely noticed it the first month. By month 3, it felt normal. By month 6, he bumped it to 8%. By month 12, 12%. 3 years later, he had more invested than he'd ever had in any bank account in his life. And for the first time, when he checked his financial picture, he felt something he hadn't felt since childhood. Safe. That feeling is priceless, and it starts with 5%. Here's the mistake people make with this. They treat savings as optional. as something that happens when everything else is covered. Savings is not optional. It is the first expense, the most important expense, the one that buys you your future. Your action step this week. Set up one automatic transfer, even $25, even $50 today, before this audiobook is over. Because if you don't do it today, you won't do it Thursday, and you definitely won't do it next month. Automate it now. Let future you thank present you. Now we need to talk about where that money goes once you've saved it. Because the savings account at your bank paying you 0.2% interest is not the answer. Chapter 7, where the money goes all right. You've saved some money. Maybe it's been sitting in your bank account. Maybe you've got a few hundred or a few thousand. Maybe you've been putting it in a savings account that earns next to nothing. Here's the truth about savings accounts. They feel safe. They are safe. They are also slowly killing your financial future. Here's why. Inflation. Inflation is a quiet tax on money that doesn't grow. Every year, the cost of things goes up, on average, around 2 to 3% per year, which means if your money is sitting in an account earning 0.2%, it is actually losing purchasing power every single year. What $100 bought you last year costs $102 or $3 this year. Your money, by staying still, is going backwards. You need your money to grow faster than inflation, which means it needs to actually be invested. Now, the word investing makes a lot of people nervous. It conjures images of stock tickers and Wall Street traders and complex spreadsheets. It doesn't need to be any of that. For most people, the single most effective investment strategy is also the simplest: index funds. An index fund is a collection of many different stocks bundled together, designed to mirror the performance of a broad market index. The most famous is the S&P 500, which tracks the 500 largest companies in the United States. When you invest in an S&P 500 index fund, you own a tiny piece of 500 companies at once. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Johnson & Johnson, 500 of them, in one investment, with very low fees. Why does this matter? Because diversification is protection. If one company goes bankrupt, it barely moves your portfolio. You're spread across hundreds. And the historical performance of broad index funds is remarkable. Over any 30-year period in modern history, the U.S. stock market has delivered positive returns. On average, around 8 to 10% per year over time. Not every year. Some years are negative. Some years are dramatically positive. But over time, the average has been powerfully positive. That is the foundation the wealthy build on. Not individual stock picking, not crypto gambling, not hot tips from a guy on the internet. A broad, diversified, low-fee index fund held for a very long time. Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors in history, has said that for most people, putting their money in a low-cost index fund and leaving it alone will outperform the vast majority of professional fund managers. Read that again. The man who built one of the great fortunes of the 20th century told regular people that the simplest strategy is probably the best strategy. The mistake people make here is trying to be clever. They hear about index funds. They get bored with them. They start stock picking. They buy what's trending. They watch financial YouTube and put money in whatever the host is excited about. And most of the time, they underperform the simple, boring index fund they would have just left alone. Boring is powerful. Boring is the strategy. Here's the structure I want you to think about: an emergency fund, investments, and a retirement account. The emergency fund comes first. 3 to 6 months of living expenses, sitting in a high-yield savings account, not invested, not tied up, liquid and accessible. This is your firewall. This means that when your car breaks down, when you lose your job, when medical bill arrives, You don't have to go into debt. You don't have to sell your investments at a bad time. You handle it, and then you rebuild the fund. The emergency fund is what allows you to invest without panic, because you know you have a cushion once the emergency fund is in place. And while you are eliminating high-interest debt, you begin investing. Many countries offer tax-advantaged retirement accounts. In the United States, this is the 401k and the Roth IRA. In the United Kingdom, it is the ISA. In Kenya, it might be the NSSF or private pension funds. These accounts allow your money to grow without being taxed every year, which is a massive advantage over time. If your employer offers matching contributions to a retirement account, that is free money. Do not leave it on the table. Ever. Full stop. Beyond tax-advantaged accounts, a standard brokerage account allows you to invest in index funds and other assets with no contribution limits. The framework is simple. Emergency fund first, high-interest debt second, tax-advantaged retirement accounts third, broader investments fourth. In that order, build each layer before the next. This is not exciting. It is not the kind of thing that gets viral social media posts, but it is the thing that actually works. And it works for everyone, not just the already wealthy. Your action step this week. Research the investment accounts available in your country. Find out if your employer offers retirement account matching. Look up one index fund ETF, that stands for Exchange Traded Fund, that tracks a broad market index. Just look it up. You don't have to buy today if you're not ready, but know it exists. Know what it does. Remove the mystery. Because the only thing standing between most people and a solid investment strategy is information they were never given. Now we've covered a lot of ground. Assets, debt, savings, investment. But there's something more foundational we need to talk about before the end. Something that ties all of this together. The way you earn. Chapter 8. Income is not a ceiling. Most people think about their income as a fixed number. You have a salary. That salary is what you earn. Full stop. But income is not a ceiling. It is a floor. And once you understand that, everything changes. Let me paint two pictures. Person A earns $60,000 a year from their job. Full stop. They work hard. They're good at what they do. But every raise is negotiated slowly. Every promotion takes years. Their income is essentially controlled by someone else, their employer, who has every incentive to give them as little as possible while keeping them productive. Person B also earns $60,000 a year from their job, but they have also spent the last 2 years building a small side business. Maybe it's freelance work in their area of expertise. Maybe it's a digital product they sell online. Maybe it's a small rental income from a room in their home. That side income adds another $15,000 a year to their life. And unlike their salary, which someone else controls, this income is theirs. They can grow it. They can scale it. And over time, if they choose, it could replace their salary entirely. 2 people, same job salary, completely different financial trajectories. The concept here is multiple streams of income. The wealthy almost universally have more than one. Research consistently shows that most millionaires have 5 or more streams of income at any given time. Salary or business income, investment dividends, rental income, royalties, side businesses. Each stream is relatively small on its own. Together, they are formidable. Now, I'm not here to tell you to quit your job and become an entrepreneur. That is not the message. The message is to not let your job be your only source of income. Start small. Think about what skills you have that someone would pay for outside of your employer's structure. Can you write, design, teach, consult, coach, fix things, build things, make things, solve problems? Think about what assets you could build that don't require your constant time. A digital course, an ebook, a YouTube channel, a blog that earns advertising revenue, a small investment portfolio that generates dividends. These things take time to build. They are real work upfront, but they create income that doesn't require you to trade more hours. Time is your only truly finite resource. You have 24 hours in a day. Your employer can buy a portion of that time, but the wealthy engineer their lives so that money comes in even when their time is being used for something else entirely. Here's the mistake. People wait for permission. They think you need credentials or capital or connections to build additional income. You don't. You need a skill, a platform, and patience. A woman I'll call Amara was a school teacher. Great salary for her area, but she loved personal finance. Obsessed over it in her spare time. She started a simple blog writing about budgeting for teachers. She wrote 1 post a week for 2 years. Slow, boring, no viral moments. Then she started earning small amounts from ads. Then an occasional affiliate commission when she recommended a budgeting app she used herself. Then a teacher at another school reached out and asked if she offered one-on-one financial coaching. She did. 2 clients per month became 4 became 8. 3 years after starting that blog, her side income exceeded her teaching salary. She did not quit teaching. She loved it, but she now teaches because she wants to, not because she has to. And that single distinction changed her relationship to her work, her students, and herself. That is what additional income streams do. They don't just add money. They add options. And options are freedom. Your action step this week. Write down 3 skills you have that others would value. Pick one. Research how someone with that skill earns money outside a traditional employment structure. Don't launch anything yet. Just understand the landscape. Information is the first step. Action comes after. And speaking of action, we're coming into the final stretch of this audiobook. But before we close, I need to stop the content for a moment and get real with you. Here's the truth. Everything I've told you in this audiobook, the assets, the index funds, the emergency fund, paying yourself first, it's not new information. Most of it has been written about in hundreds of books and thousands of articles. And yet, most people still won't do it. Not because they're lazy, not because they're stupid, because this stuff is hard, not intellectually, emotionally. Because changing your financial behavior means confronting the story your family gave you about money. It means telling your friends you can't come to the expensive dinner this month. It means watching a friend buy a shiny new car while you drive your 10-year-old one and keep investing the difference. It means delaying gratification in a world that sells instant gratification on every screen and every street corner. It means saying no. A lot, and that's lonely sometimes. I want to acknowledge that. I want to acknowledge that building wealth in a world designed to take it from you is an act of resistance, a daily, quiet, unglamorous act of resistance. There will be months when the market drops and your investments are worth less than you put in. There will be months when an emergency breaks through your carefully built budget. There will be moments when you wonder if any of it is working. Stay, because the people who arrive at financial freedom are not the people who had the best strategy. They are the people who kept going when the strategy got boring or hard or temporarily backward. I want to tell you about someone I think about often when these moments come. A man, 63 years old, who spent his whole career as a postal worker, modest salary, no inheritance, no business, no side hustle. He just saved every month for 40 years. He put 15% of every paycheck into an index fund, and he never touched it. He retired at 63 with more than $1.2 million. Not because of some clever strategy, because of 40 years of quiet, boring consistency. His co-workers spent more than him, drove nicer cars than him, took bigger holidays than him, and then they worked until they were 70. And he sat by a lake and watched his grandchildren learn to swim. Consistency is a strategy. Time is the investment. You are the asset. Don't give up on yourself. To recap what we covered, you've been with me for a while now. Let's tie it all together. We started with the hamster wheel, the cycle where income rises, lifestyle inflates to match, and you end up just as financially fragile as before, just at a higher salary. Remember when we said income is not wealth? That's because wealth comes from what your money does, not from how much comes in. The first step is recognizing the cycle. The second step is refusing to let it run on autopilot. We talked about the asset machine, the idea that money should work for you, not just pass through you. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out. The wealthy obsess over acquiring assets, and they start building them long before they feel wealthy enough to do so, because the asset machine needs time to run. The earlier you start, the more powerful it becomes. We went deep on the money story, the beliefs about money that you absorbed before you ever had any. Those beliefs shape behavior more than any investment tip ever could. If you can identify the story you were given and question whether it's serving you, you free yourself to write a new one. We learned the 3 things the rich actually do. They build assets, they use leverage, and they protect what they have. Build, leverage, protect. Those 3 verbs contain the entirety of wealth strategy when you look closely enough. We talked about debt, the kind that costs you, which needs to be eliminated, and the kind that pays you, which can be a tool. The enemy is high-interest consumer debt. The antidote is a debt avalanche, focused and relentless. And the frame shift is understanding that eliminating a 20% debt is the equivalent of earning 20% guaranteed, which nothing else in the investment world can offer. We covered pay yourself first, the reversal that changes everything. Spend what is left after saving, not save what is left after spending. Automate it, make it invisible. Build it into your life as a non-negotiable, not an afterthought. We looked at where the money goes. Emergency fund first, high interest debt second, tax advantage retirement accounts third, broad index fund investing fourth. Simple, boring, powerful. And we talked about income being a floor, not a ceiling. The wealthy have multiple streams. Skills become services. Services become systems. Systems become income that doesn't require your constant time. Start small. Start with what you know, but start. Remember when we said the only thing standing between most people and a solid investment strategy is information they were never given. That's why this matters. Not just for you, for the people around you, for the conversations you're going to have differently now, for the generations that come after you. This is how it spreads, one person at a time, understanding something they were never taught, and deciding to do something about it. To close, here we are. You made it to the end. And I want to leave you with one specific action for today. Not this week, not this month. Today, open your bank app right now or as soon as you can and find the automatic transfer feature. Set up a recurring transfer of whatever even $10 to a separate savings account. Label it My Asset Machine. Set it to come out on the same day as your paycheck. That's it. That's the move. It sounds tiny. It is tiny, but it is also the moment you stop being a passive recipient of a financial system designed to drain you and become an active architect of your own financial future. Everything we talk about today, it all starts with that one small move, that one decision to say, some of this money is mine, not for today, for my future. And on the day that your asset income exceeds your expenses, on the day you wake up and realize you don't have to go to work today if you don't want to, on that day, you will remember this moment, this ordinary, quiet, undramatic moment, when you set up a $10 automatic transfer and started taking your financial life seriously. Big lives are built from small beginnings. The rich don't work for money. They build things that work for them. And those things, every single one of them, started as one small, deliberate decision. You just made yours. Now, go build something.